I think it will be the next single then, "Falling So in Love." When you write a song like that, do you have a particular person in mind, or is it more about the overall concept?
Yeah. So okay. So a little. I haven't told anybody this yet, but
Okay.
this is kind of the idea now that Saga's like starting to come out. Um, so the first song on Saga was called "Turn It Up," and
Hmm.
that that was basically our first album, like our self-titled. That was a song that, like I was saying, like we sat with that record and wanted to do a song that was similar to that. Everything from that record was like the highest I could possibly sing, the loudest it could possibly go. And so we wrote the song Turn It Up. These Nights was after our record Smile Kid, which was all about, you know, kind of saying like, hey, it's okay that it's bad times. Let's cheer up, Smile Kid. And it's kind of an inspirational type of record. So These Nights goes after the Smile Kid album, which was our second album. Our third album was called Sunshine State of Mind. And there was an overlying theme of not being shy and just, telling people how you really feel. We had the song Say You Like Me and Fridays Forever. And those were kind of the bigger songs from that record. But No One Like You was kind of sculpted around the idea of Sunshine State of Mind. Now, our fourth record, Somewhere Somehow, I started writing when I met my wife.
Okay.
And she wasn't my wife at the time. But because Falling So in Love is kind of written around that kind of time period, written with our mind thinking that we were in that fourth record time period. It was a lot of those songs were basically my way of trying to like show my wife, like, or she was my girlfriend at the time, but like show her like how much I loved her. And in the song Falling So in Love, it shows like the first time that I met her, the first time that she met my parents and I met her parents, the first time that I asked her dad to marry, her, and asked if it was okay, and then, down to me getting on my knee and saying, will you marry me? So all of that is in this song. So it is, it's directly associated with my personal story with my wife and how, right when I met her, I was falling in love with her. And then, 6 months later, I was falling even more in love. And you just find these things, and it can be in other people too. So I'm hoping that people see this and they're like, that's how I feel about my significant other, there are days that I love this person more than the first time that I met them. So yes, that song is directly written for my wife, and she knows it. She tells everybody, she's like, that song's written about me.
Well, if the songs on when you wrote the fourth album and those songs, did she know at that time that those songs were about her?
Well, so it's funny. So half the album was written before I met her.
Okay.
So half the album is about other people, as far as the love songs go.
Sure.
And then the other half is about her, and so after, when we started dating, like I would play her new songs and there would be examples in the lyrics of things that we did, like driving down the 405 with the windows down, is something that we did all the time and listen to music. And it's literally written in the lyrics. And so I didn't even have to tell her that the song was about her. She just totally knew right away.
Excellent. That must be. Is that a difficult thing to know that you're writing about real people, and or is that just part of kind of the job that you do?
It's honestly, it's all I've ever known. I've never. It's been really hard for me to write about something that I haven't personally experienced, and I definitely. I can definitely exaggerate in songs, and I can do that, but a lot of We the King's music is based on feeling and how the song makes you feel. Even if it's, if it's a love song and you're somebody that's like not in love, you can still listen to the song and feel good about it. So I think for me, it's always been like, definitely one of the priorities as far as songwriting is to use something that I can showcase the feeling of what that feels like. And that way people can listen to it no matter what state of life you're in, and they can feel something from the music. It's like it's the most powerful thing that music has, is to be able to make you feel something. And so I always felt like if I were writing about something that I didn't know, I wouldn't be able to kind of showcase that feeling. And by extension, I would just miss the song. So for me, it's not hard. It's all that I've ever done. So I don't know the other side.
Fair enough. Finally then, because in terms of making people feel something with music, I mean, you've always been very appreciative of your fans. I mean, the last record was somewhat dedicated to them. So what do you hope, especially in this strange times, that people will get from the music you're putting out now?
It's our shows on tour have always been a place of people coming together and kind of leaving the problems of the real world at the door and just coming in and being a part of something. If you're a misfit, if you're this type of person, like no matter who you are, where you come from, how old you are, where you come from, who you love, what ethnicity or race you're from, or where in the world you're from, you can always come into our show. And it's not about We the Kings. It's all about the music that's being played, that everybody's singing and everybody's dancing to, no matter all those things. And we saw that from a very early, moment in our career, like how diverse our crowds were and how awesome that was to be able to play music for so many different types of people. And so I think even in our early records, we decided that, like, hey, listen, there's something special about that. And we would love for our records, and our albums that we put out to have some sort of same effect as like, hey, we don't really know what our demographic is. There's a ton of people. I live in the same town is the guys from A Day to Remember. And I saw Neil the other day, and he was opening up a restaurant, and I actually went to go grab something, and there were a ton of A Day to Remember fans there. And I walked by, and all of them were like, "Oh my God, it's Travis from We the Kings. Dude, I love you. Can I get a picture?" And, A Day to Remember is a harder band than We the Kings, and I've been to shows, I went to go see Slipknot once, and a bunch of people were coming out to me. They were like, "Travis, I love your band." It's cool. It's cool that there's not a demographic of who should be listening to We the Kings, what you should look like if you listen to We the Kings, how old, gender, whatever it is. And I think that's something that we have always tried to do, and that we will still can try to, continue to do, is like, hey, our music is meant to be uplifting, and it's meant to be fun and positive, and I hope that you can take that from it.
Oh, that's great. I mean, one of the best things I've heard somebody say about music, which kind of shifted my mindset about it as well, was somebody said it's not a competition, because everybody's always trying to say, "Oh, he's better than this," or "You can't listen to this if you listen to this," and that kind of stuff. But I mean, that's all bullshit. I think, like you said, it's just enjoy what you enjoy.
It's too hard. We as like humans make everything competitive.
Right.
And, it's not about like which band is bigger on the charts, or which band, wins a Grammy, or which band draws more people. I've always said, like, I can remember times, where there was more bands or more members of the band than there were fans in the audience. So, some of our very first tours where nobody knew about us, we would play with 5 other bands. There were about 4 to 5 members in each band. So there's always about 20 or 25 band members. And then there would be 7 people, you know, that came to the show. So there were literally more people in the crowd that were from the other bands than there were people that we had drawn to and it was some of the funnest shows we've ever played because we didn't care, you know, that other bands were bringing 12 people to their show. It was, you know, it didn't matter. That what mattered was we were absolutely living our dream, you know, and our dream was to play music for a living. So, you know, I think some people set the bar too high, and their dream is playing in front of, you know, tens of thousands of people. It's like, okay, that's, you know, to each their own. But think about how successful you would feel if you just said, my music is, you know, my dream and goal is to play music to people, you know, regardless of how many people there were. Then you could do that. You know, you can achieve that dream, and it can be so worth it.
I think those are great words to end on. So Travis, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I hope, even though you still enjoy being at home, I hope you get to go out and play at some point.
Me too.
And yeah, I hope you have a great day.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.